Is Scrum suitable for all projects? Or what are instances that we might not require to use Scrum for project management? Hello, welcome to the Scrum chat room with Dr. Francis Mbonya. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button for returning subscriber. Make sure that you hit the like and add another comment. It's our Super Monday, and today I want to give you this is one of the most frequent asked questions, right? Because sometimes, Scrum is taken from, no, not taken. Scrum is an aspect of project management, but then which is a bit more different from the way we manage project traditionally. So in most of the cases, one of the reasons you're going to see most of the Scrum master role carry Scrum slash project management or Scrum slash something is because in some of the cases they might be using hybrid approaches. But then the question I want to answer this morning is, are there instances where waterfall approaches favor over Scrum, or with Scrum fit every project, or what are some situations that you are not going to recommend Scrum? Okay, so I'm going to give you three instances. Number one, when the project is small and straightforward, which means we know everything is very clear, straightforward. There is no need for us to use Scrum. Now, remember, the need for Scrum is because most often we want to be able to build in smaller part while continuously discovering requirements that are coming in. So if for any reason it's really straightforward, you know what to do at what time, the budget is clear, everything is clear just at a single glance, there's no need for us to use Scrum. So if a project is small enough, we understand the scope, we understand everything from start to end, then we will not need Scrum. Apply the normal traditional way of managing. Now, why will I say you don't need Scrum? It doesn't mean that if you run sprints and do your Scrum, you will not be able to deliver. But then the way we do budgeting in Scrum is different from the way we do budgeting in projects that are very straightforward, right? Budgeting in Scrum is done by an approach called lean budgeting, where there's a pool of budget, and then as you continuously implement, you now get to accrue and report the budget, right? So that's it. Now, the second way is that when the environment is regulated, this simply means that where documentation and predictability are very critical. We must document every step. I want to see every detail. I want to see every stuff need to be approved before we can do anything. We can use Scrum. Remember, Scrum is flexibility. We want to give the team the ownership, right? We want to give the team the ownership of the project. We want not the ownership of the project. We want to give the team the ability to make their decision, right? The team need to be self-organized with decentralized decision making. But in a regulated environment, everything need to be pre-approved. A lot of documentation is needed, maybe because of the sensitivity of the project, and we need to be able to predict anything before we engage in it. In this kind of scenario, Scrum is not going to help you. Now, the third scenario, which we're going to discuss today, fixed scope contract. Fixed scope contract, which means that I'm giving you, this is supposed to be $100,000. Anything out of that, you are going to take care of that yourself. We are not allowing any excesses. Make sure that this project doesn't exceed this amount. Make sure that this project doesn't exceed 3 weeks, right? Make sure that only this number of resources can work on this project. Now there's no flexibility. So in that case, we're going to rule out Scrum, and then we're going to use the traditional approach for managing project, because we can now manage what? Scope, we can manage budget, we can be able to be very, very strict. All right. So those are our three top tips on situation where Scrum is not going to work, right? And you need this for your Scrum interview. And for those who actually are in the market, most often I tell people, when do you know you need a mentor? When do you know you need a coach? When do you know that you need help in Scrum? When you've gone through it for about 6 months and you feel like nothing is working. When you cannot even identify what you're doing wrong, right? That's a need for a coach. There's a need for a mentor. And for many people, the longer you keep trying, the more you're getting frustrated, and then many people kind of give up, right? So, on averagely, you should be using about 90 days, not more than 6 months to get a job. But this only happens if you situate yourself in a community where you're working with a coach, you're working with other people, you are looking at people who are getting job, you're talking with them, what they are doing to either to get a job. Most often we kind of give up because we're isolated, we're in a journey of our own. And most of this happen because we feel like, oh, it's too expensive to hire a coach. Or so no, anything that you need to get result, you need to invest. Now, one of my coaches said that you cannot be going for a six-figure job and you don't do a six-figure job and six-figure work, right? And most of the cases for in order to get a coach or get belong to a community where you practice, it's almost nothing compared to what you need to get. Sometimes I always tell people, Mondays are always our days of not just talking about leadership, right? So, which is why I'm giving you some leadership coaching for free. Sometimes we always tell people when you want to really succeed, uh, try as much as possible to be hard on yourself. Hard on yourself simply means that you want to push beyond what you normally want to do. For many people, the reason why they have not been able to move ahead is because what they are currently doing now take more priority compared to what they want to shift. If they need to shift, if they need for you to want to move to a new career, it's not greater than what you currently have. Trust me, you will quit. Right. Now, the brain doesn't just accept result because you're doing an activity. The brain pick result based on what is important to you. So if you're given a complaint that, oh, I need to go to work, the only time I have for Scrum is about an hour, or I can only do Scrum at this particular point, what happened? What is in your mind, which is your normal job, is what take priority. You realize that you struggle over it. So you need to be able, although I don't really have so much time here, this is important. When it becomes important, you automatically create a space for that. You see that you can even come back from work, you're very tired, but you're bound to do that because your brain has been conditioned to shift. So reach out and let's look at how we can help you. And often we don't just help you by telling you it's going to cost this, cost this. Most often we sit down, we do an evaluation, we see where you are, we see what you're missing, then we advise you on what you need to do to close the gap. All right. Have a great Monday. Stay strong. Don't lose hope. There is help that can help you get the result as soon as possible. I'll see you on the other side.